Hey guys, so we're back to working on the car. I decided to split this video up into two parts. So the first part's just going to be putting on the taillights. Second part is going to be putting on the trunk. So, it'll be pretty simple enough. The very first thing we're going to have to do, since again we've got the new taillights in the new trunk over there and we don't have to worry about that, we're just going to leave these ones in. We don't have to take them out or anything, fight with that. First thing you're going to want to do, though, is get this latch off, because we're going to have to transfer that over and everything like that jazz. So, from what I can see, there's only two bolts, one right there, and these are both going to be 10 millimeter. There's one right there and another one, yeah, it's oversaturating, one right there, too. So, we're going to get to taking those two bolts off first. Alright, so I forgot to mention real quick, there is an electrical connector right there. You're going to want to disconnect that. Once you get those two bolts out, this is kind of just hooked up in here like this, so you can just pull it out. The next thing we're going to have to do is remove the cable, because this does run through the trunk obviously, so we're going to have to pull that out, transplant it into the new one. Easiest way to do this is this little arm here, where there's that ball right there. Push that back. And then you can basically, there's a little gap, and my phone is not focusing. Let's tap. Anyway, yeah. There's a little gap right there where you can slide this wire out. So just pull that out so that we can actually get this assembly off. Then we can take that over to the new trunk and then continue to pull the rest of this out of the car. Alright, so once we've got the latch disconnected and everything, the next thing we have to do is just start disconnecting all of this. All of the connectors for the wiring harness, because again we're going to have to take this all off, leave it, and then transplant it to the new trunk. So again, they're really simple. Just look for the tab, boom. Right here, this is where the harness is going to be connected, like bolted down to the trunk so it doesn't move around. You can either squeeze these and push them through, which I am having a little bit of a problem with. Or another easy way is to just use pliers and it doesn't want to go. Yeah, right there. Squeeze and push. Just a simple little boop. So, once we get all that unplugged, then we'll just have to kind of feed it all out through this end, because this is where it comes up. And then we'll have to take off these little zip ties and everything too. Alright, so now that we've got the whole harness out of the trunk, everything disconnected, you can leave it on here, on this little bracket right here, because that's not coming off of the car. We're just unbolting it here to get the trunk off. So the next part is obviously the unbolting part. These, I think they're 10s. Let me check real quick. With the trusty little socket. Yeah, 4 10mm bolts, and the trunk will literally just pop off right after that. Yeah. So now that we've got the trunk off, it's just going to be a matter of just swapping parts from the old trunk to the new trunk. So you're going to need to get all the bolts that hold in these old headlight assemblies. You're going to need to take those out to put them in your new ones. You're going to need these little rubber, I'm not exactly sure what they're for. I think for like aligning the trunk or something. But anyway, there's one on each corner. They fit into that new trunk too.
That one right there.
Yep. And then also the license plate lights, which they're right there on this one. Yeah, and up in this new trunk, they're up right there. So I'm assuming they'll still line up. We'll see when we get to that point, but yeah. And then obviously the lock mechanism right there. So yeah, just easy transferring parts right now. So, quick note on getting these little license plate lights out. So on the back, there's going to be 2 tabs. Pretty simple, you just push both of those and pull the light out. Can you hold that? Mm-hmm. So, one's under the metal, the other one's not. Push, lights out. Next part, on one side only, there's going to be a bigger tab like this. All you have to do is push that in, like so, and then push, and the light goes out. and then obviously just pick up the trunk and pull it out the other side. Alright, so I just found out in order to get these out, you actually have to take the trim piece off on the other side. So there's going to be one 10mm bolt here, and then just a bunch of little, there's some in there, just a bunch of little of these clips that, again, you just squeeze and push. So once we get the trim piece off, then we'll actually be able to get those two lights out. Alright, so once you've gotten these lights out, to get them in here, we're actually going to have to do some more cutting again, because the shape of this, as you can see right there, is not the same as here. So the light is going to go in this way, with these little ridges facing inward, like so. And since there's a bulge right there, we're going to have to basically just cut this piece out. I'm probably just going to do a little bit of a square up to there. Not worry about it too much, because these top and bottom pieces don't clip in. It's just the sides that hold it in place. So yeah, on both of them we're going to have to do that. Alright, so if you want to get the emblem off and put it on the new trunk, it's pretty simple. There's just two little tabs. They're sticking through on the inside of the trunk. Just get like a pair of pliers or something and push, and it'll just pop straight out. Because you can see there's two little bits of adhesive, one on top, one on bottom, but since it's so old, they really don't hold anymore, so if you just give it a little push, they'll come right out. And then, if you want to put it on the new one, you're probably going to want a little bit more adhesive also, again, just to kind of help it re-stick back to the trunk. So, yeah. So, one quick thing to note, the holes for these where they line up are not the same as the license plate ones, as you can see. So, yeah, I'm not exactly sure how to work or fix with that. At the moment, we're just going to put one in, slam it down, hope it stays in place. But, yeah, maybe build like a little custom bracket that'll screw into there and then move over appropriately to bolt in for that one, or just tap your own holes maybe. I'm not too sure on that. Just wanted to throw that out there so you know before you get to that point. Alright, so once we've got this trunk all set up exactly how I want, now it's just time to put it back onto the car. Have your bolts close by so that when you're lining it up, you can just thread it through the holes and it should line up easy. Also, these move, like left and right. So when you get them in, don't hammer them down all the way just yet, because you will have to close the trunk and check for, you know, the alignment side to side and all that stuff to make sure it's good before tightening them down all the way, because, you know, if you have to adjust it or anything, having them a little loose just makes it easier to do those quick adjustments and then keep trying. Alright, so once you've got the trunk on, focus, there we go. It's going to be really easy now just to run the wiring loom through. Obviously, just put it up above the metal, everything. Reattach this back up into here, which I showed earlier. It might be a little bit of a challenge now that I actually screwed it down. But anyway, reconnect everything back up. There is one thing I should note. These aftermarket taillight assemblies have the reverse light in them right here. So since that connector is down in here, I will have to do some wire splicing to get that up, probably run it through here, and then reconnect it up here. If yours will be the same, I'm not sure. So yeah, I'll make a little quick part at the end of this video too on just the splicing and running it up to there. So